got to be so fine now. She's got to be the kind of girl to educate my mind.
Bassie Clarke, how you doing, sir?
Good afternoon, Kat-a-lyst, DJKat. How you doing, sister?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm good. So, we're here to interview yourself.
Yes, let's go.
Okay, so let the listeners out there know, who is Bassie Clarke. Let them know who you are.
Bassie Clarke is a musician and now currently a producer.
Okay.
And also an artist.
Okay. Well, that's a lot of titles.
I've accomplished them over the 40 odd years I've been doing this thing. Yes.
Okay. So, let us know, how did you get into music? How did it all begin for you?
Basically, it started just before I left school. I started with a school band, and as soon as we left school, it became a predominant feature of my life, really.
Okay. So how did you know it was something to get involved in? How did you know it was for you?
From the moment I went on stage with my bass guitar, the first time I performed with a bass guitar was 3 weeks after learning the instrument.
Wow, okay.
So, and the buzz that we got as youngsters, as they say, everything else took care of itself.
Okay. You said youngsters, so was you in a band?
Yeah, my first band was probably about 1977.
Okay.
We were called Reality.
Yeah, okay.
We were based in Kensal Rise in London.
Yeah. Okay. And what kind of music do you guys play, or did you play?
In the early beginnings, it was basically soul music. Obviously, we brought up in the Motown period of time.
Yeah.
But then, obviously, our parents' generation, they introduced us to some of the harder stuff.
Okay.
Like the Peter Tosh, especially my father, and Bob Marley. And obviously, we heard some of the early reggae songs then from in the days. So basically, what I did was basically fused everything together.
Okay.
And utilized the reggae aspect.
Yeah. So, how important is it to learn a musical instrument, do you think?
Well, my personal opinion, in this world that we're all gracing here for a time, music is more important than almost language, if I can say that, and people can understand how deep that is. Because music is universal.
Yes.
And it's listened to by so many people, whether they speak your language or not. The sounds of the drums, of the bass, everyone understands that.
Okay. So, how far have you taken music? Have you taken it out of the UK? Tell the listeners a little bit about how far you've gone with music.
Well, once again, going back to the early days, I obviously started playing with the Lovers Rock Band, and eventually I ended up in a roots band called Brimstone back in the late 70s, early 80s. And the roots and everything that I managed to, accomplish, I toured Europe, I toured the UK, I toured Scotland, we toured all over.
Okay.
And as they said, one thing just kept leading to another.
Yeah. And how was it like from the UK reggae scene to out of the UK? Is there any difference?
Back in the earlier days, obviously you have to remember that the genre and the style of music has changed over the last 3 decades and so.
Yeah.
So back in the earlier days, people were more receptive to music, especially live bands, because back in those days it was live bands, live instruments. Yeah. There was no computers, and so as a band performing, it was completely different from what's really happening nowadays.
Okay. So, have you gone on any tours recently, or are you looking to do that?
I'm obviously looking to do that very, very soon. I've got a couple of products that's out there, as you're probably aware.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get my album, my first ever debut album together.
Okay.
And I think I'll be in a better position with my management early in January to make an appropriate announcement.
Okay, no worries. So we spoke a little bit about you being a producer. So I know that you've got your own record label.
That's correct, Black Patch.
Yes. So why that name?
Black Patch was a sound that we had in Cancer Rise once again.
Okay.
It was a sound that we had in our youth club. At the time, it was in Cancer Rise. It was called Tiverton.
Okay.
And the resident set was called Black Patch.
Yeah. Okay.
So the name obviously has carried on since then.
Yeah. And who are your artists at the moment that you're kind of looking after?
Well, to be honest, I suppose I can only say, in terms of artists, I don't really have any rights to any artists.
Okay.
I work with quite a few. I don't own any of them, or I'm not their managers or anything.
Yeah.
It's just a vibe thing right now.
Okay.
And so I'm not really in control of any of the artists that I worked with, but there are quite a few.
Okay. Who might that be? Do you want to say?
Of course, from the UK, there's people like Arawak that helped me start the whole thing in the beginning.
Okay.
Andrew Slowly was part of the foundation. There's Arletta Davis. There's Shazikia, aka Pauline Catlin from Brown Sugar. There's Father Don.
Okay.
There's a few other people, including Skipper Laker, Eloima. That's the UK base wise. There's a few more that I haven't got at hand at the moment, but yes, there's quite a few.
Okay.
In the UK, and there's also some international artists as well.
Yeah. Okay. So who is inspiring you at the minute or back then?
Inspiring me?
Yeah.
Well, as a bass player, I was originally inspired by Robbie and Sly.
Okay, yeah.
And then when Star Scott and the crew, when Roots Radix came with their style,
yeah,
I was kind of hooked on that for a big period of time as well.
Okay.
But I've tried to kind of use all those styles and kind of create my own kind of thing from it.
Yeah, that's good. Your own fusion into the music.
Right.
Yeah. So, how are you seeing music at the moment?
Boy, as many artists before, many artists after me will say, it's pretty difficult, really, to be honest. Sometimes it's downheartening. I've seen a lot of people that are really talented leave the business because of how things are.
Okay.
But once again, I suppose for me personally, it's just this love that I have, and thankfully I've got my own stuff that I can kind of work with from home.
Yeah.
So I don't really need anyone to kind of, put me off or detour me from doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I just love music, because I said it's a multi-language to the world.
Definitely. So what are you thinking of this new, well, people call it new reggae, but the likes of Coffee, Chronix, Protege, etc. How are you feeling their vibe?
A lot of those artists, especially the ones who are on the conscious tip.
Yeah.
Because once again, as a UK artist myself, it's just so sad to see on a daily basis. Yesterday we heard another victim of this knife crime, or if it's not knife, it's gun.
Yeah.
But to me, the DJ lyrics, and the rapping songs, they're not really educating our youngsters with the proper message.
Okay.
Too much violence and too much slackness in what they're saying, and it's really down-putting.
Yeah. Okay. Definitely. So have you got any advice for young people out there that are starting music or wanting to get into music?
The most important thing, first of all, you have to practice whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
If if you want to play an instrument, or if you want to sing, you really just need to just focus on your instrument or your voice and just keep practicing. As they say, this industry is very difficult. Sometimes it's hard to get a break.
Definitely.
And if you just persevere, if you persevere with what you're doing,
Yeah.
and you have the right support around you, you know, there's avenues, so many, you know, so the roads are there, but you really have to love what you're doing, and you really have to work hard by practicing your instrument or your voice, if that's the case, what you do.
Okay, definitely. So, what's next for you? Any new well, you spoke about your EP, but is there any new projects? What's next for Bassie Clarke? Tell the listeners out there.
Ooh, some of it I'm gonna have to kind of keep under my hat at the moment, because the last 8 months I've been talking, and there's not been so much coming out.
Okay.
But there are projects in the pipeline. There's I don't know if you know about my Volume 1, Volume 2 on my Black Patch label.
Yeah, okay.
There's a Volume 3 very close behind it.
Okay.
And 2 other excursions that are coming very soon. But the most important one for me at the moment I'm really working towards is just to complete my album, which should be done in December.
Okay. Looking forward to that. Where can people link you, like on social media and things like that? What do they have to do?
Right. If you go on the networks there, you can find Black Patch. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter. I've got my website page, my YouTube channel page, blackpatchproductions.bandcamp.com.
Okay.
You've got my blackpatchchannels.com. Or you can call me or check me out on Facebook via either Black Patch Productions, Bassie Clarke, or Mr. Bassie / Foreigners Crew Band.
Okay. Thank you for that. So, for the listeners out there, could we have a little something live on air now from you?
Of course you can. I'm going to sing the song that's probably starting to get around that people are really familiar with.
Okay.
So it is my kind of girl's got to be so fine now. She's got to be the kind of girl to educate my mind. Woolly patata coming like tomato. Girl, I feel like dancing all night, so I really, really love you. I really, really love you. I really, really love you. DJKat. Kat-a-lyst, go on with it.
Yeah. Thank you. So I just want to say thank you to you for the interview, and I hope we can have many more interviews on your new music, everything else coming up. But is there any kind of final thoughts you want to say to the listeners out there?
Yeah, before I forget and before I get told off, there's a happy birthday request that I must say.
Okay.
I'd like to wish Barbara Foxy Lady.
Oh, okay.
I know you're listening. Barbara Foxy Lady, big up your status, Mr. Bassie
Happy birthday.
All right.
Yeah, man.
And to all my people who are listening, please don't forget, if you do want any further information, please check my manager, King Genius, at One Harmony Music.
Okay. I just want to say thank you to you once again.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time to have me.
Anytime.
As you know, I'm currently at work as well, so I'm really grateful that this particular time has happened. So, yeah.
Anytime. And of course, any new music, anything like that, please send it my way and I will definitely be playing it, yeah?
Yes, I'd like to hear you play one of them probably before you finish off.
I will
if you can't play it anymore.
I will do.
But anything that's happening, DJKat, you know my manager,
yes.
King Genius, so you will definitely be getting what's coming very, very soon, I promise you.
That's great to hear. So we'll speak again soon,
all right, sister. Yeah, God bless you and thank you for your time as well.
Anytime.
Big up all Arawak DJs and all the staff them, all the crowd around the world, wherever you are, daylight, sunlight, morning. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Thank you. Speak again soon, yeah?
Blessed love.
All right, bye. As you heard it there, we had Bassie Clarke live and direct, okay? please do go and support each and every artist that you hear. Don't forget, later on we're also going to be having Boom Donovan, okay? But until then, we're going to have a song that Bassie Clarke has done, okay? Then we're going to have a song that he's produced, okay? So right now we've got a song called I Really Love You. Here we go.
Pretty little